We're live, Jana.
We are live.
Welcome to episode 48, everybody.
Hello, welcome.
This is a not safe for work podcast.
And anybody that's on audio, we are now going to be live every Friday unless catastrophic things are scheduled for that day. So you can catch us live, or it will be posted to YouTube afterwards, and the audio will come out when Jessica has time to get it out. Usually it's like 2 days, right?
Yeah, or so. It depends on how much we suck.
Yeah.
Mostly. No, somebody thumbs down our last episode, and I'm assuming it's because they didn't realize it was a not safe for work podcast. So I wanted to double down.
Yeah. Jana flashes her boobies. Sorry, everyone.
Right, get the fuck out.
There's lots of swearing, and I think I was smoking in that one.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea. They didn't leave a comment. They were just like a tacit disapproval, and I was like,
you know you've arrived
when people are
you've arrived when people are starting to thumbs down you. So I think that's actually a compliment. So thank you, Mr. Thumbs Downer or Mrs.
Oh Lord. DNA Reptilia left a message earlier or last night. Actually, he's getting into the project Kiki, very hot project, and 843 either was here or could be coming back. So shout out everybody.
Okay.
Powerhouse also. Can you see the chat?
Oh.
People are talking to us. Is what.
People are already talking to us. Oh my goodness! Whoa! Sorry, I was.
Yeah, Powerhouse
apparently
is
not on it.
This is how I am normally. I don't know what Jana is normally. Probably a complete degenerate, but
I am a complete
this
degenerate.
Isn't for kids. This isn't a general audience. This is for breeders. This is for people who are water cooler talking at the reptile show. And we all know we talk like this naturally, so there's no reason to like pretend to censor it for the people who need family friendly content. My main channel is largely normal. Like my Hair Hollow Farm channel, there's not extra weird stuff. I'm assuming ASM Royal Tails is normal also because you had your child involved.
Yes, that is definitely safe for work. 99% of my content is safe. I mean, sometimes there's some major cleavage happening, so you're welcome. But 99% of the time, it's kid friendly because I have 3 kids. So I am supposed to be commenting on the chat, but I'm still trying to figure that out, guys. So bear with me. Apparently my tablet is not going to let me be commenting in the chat today. So.
Oh, you can't comment?
I can't even. You were a hot mess. So I'm figuring it out, guys. That's my job. And of course it's a hot mess because Jana is a hot mess.
All right. Did you know we have a sponsor?
Yes, we have a sponsor and he's awesome.
What was Shane doing this week? It looks like he's grasping an invisible watermelon.
Oh, he was talking about
somebody's
his time.
butt.
He was talking about his time in prison, so he was giving people like roommate prison tips.
I know that episode was really good because it got a lot of personal information about both
of them
and Shane, so that was cool.
Yeah, Shane interviewed the Fat Man live. And it was a lot of fun. So if you guys aren't catching his lives, I think they're twice a month. But our sponsor, Shane Kelley, got to interview the Fat Man. We've interviewed him. I don't know if he does a lot, especially not on his own show, of having people interview him. But it was a lot of fun, and Shane rocked it.
Good job, Shane. You can find him on Morph Market, YouTube, Instagram, maybe a Prison Block. I'm not sure.
A prison block, yeah.
Sometimes,
tips for prison,
but not right now. He's busy.
Not right now. He's very busy. All his side hustles, and he likes to sponsor crappy little podcasts like us and shower us with love and appreciation. And it's thank you, Shane.
We did have a shout out in that episode again, which, as always, we do not deserve, but always appreciate.
It always shocks me, but yes, thank you.
Right. I don't know why anybody would want to come here. at any time. Speaking of more undeserved praise, 5-star reviews. Holy mackerel. Python Bite and Jake Earthworm Hole, which just reminds me of like Earthworm Jim, and I can't like disassociate the reference in my head. Both left 5-star reviews. And what is it about podcast reviews, Jana?
What is it about it?
Why do we want it? Why are they necessary?
It adds us to the algorithm. So when you're looking for reptile podcasts, it'll be more likely to recommend us. Or if you have listened to a reptile podcast, it'll probably throw us in your feed as, hey, you might like this. So the more 5-star reviews we get, the better chance we have of being seen by people who aren't listening to us and should be. So that really helps us out. Thank you, everybody that has done it in the past. And thank you to the people who have done it recently. That actually has really helped us, and it will continue to help us. Now that we're doing a lot of videos and lives, like I said, we'll be here weekly on Fridays. If you guys could like, subscribe, comment, all the things that everybody's always harassing you to do, that also helps the YouTube algorithm, because the 5-star reviews only help the podcast algorithm. But if you interact with us on YouTube, that helps the YouTube algorithm for us.
Yeah, we're never going to get monetized, but if we get 1,000 subs, then people could send super chats. And I don't know what Jana would do for a super chat. So if y'all want to see that unfold, wow.
Right.
Think of the excitement that could happen.
Think of the excitement that could happen.
The sub button is the most important at this point. All right. We did. Oh, one last note about last week's episode. I was talking to Shane, and Shane clarified that the DNA genetic test for ball pythons was always $50, never $25. I had mixed up the gender determination for colubrids and pythons with the DNA test. So Ben was like chilling in the Canova Discord somewhere, and he quoted a set of prices that was very similar. It was like 50 for one. Now I'm ad-libbing because I didn't write it down. I think it was like 65 for 2 of clown pied and lavender, and 3 was like it didn't scale up proportionately. There was like a discount if you added more tests to the same shed.
Okay. And then has that gone live on Morph Market?
No. But I guess based on him sneaking around in Canova, he was like getting ready, and he knew his like stumbling around in somebody's Discord, and you're like,
right. That's how I am always in Discord, just stumbling around, not knowing what I'm doing, going, I really
there's so many good Discords, and they're so much better than Facebook. Let's flash back to the last episode.
I'm just hoping that when they announce some of the first new ones that they announced, it's going to be G-Stripe, so that people that are in the Genetic Stripe Clown project will have that available. For me, selfishly for me, I would like that to be added. I'm excited for that, especially when you get into double and triple hets. I mean, even $50 is worth it to me to know if that should be a holdback. So,
right. I have no idea what his ambitions are. I would think he would actually do Desert Coast.
Oh, of course.
I would love financial perspective.
I don't know. Have they done Desert Ghost and Enhancer? Like, is it the same? So they haven't worked with that at all. Okay.
So Lindsay asked if it's 50 per snake. So so it's 50 per shed you send in, but the same shed, the assay can be duplicated once they've pulled the DNA out, and so it's like a less expensive add to lavender and less expensive add for pied. If you pick clown as your first, so it's not like 150 total. It's slightly less. I don't remember the numbers.
Yeah, like so if I had one that was like pos het, clown pied, but it was yellow belly or gravel, that would be 3 tests on one snake. So it's like she's saying, not 150, but we don't yet know what it is. But they're saying the initial, no matter what, it's going to be 50. And then as you add on things, they're not going to charge you another 50 because they're already running the test. So it should be quite a bit less to add to the same snake. But if you have, say you have 5 snakes in that collection that you're sending in, each shed would be 50 plus however many additionals you added to it, correct?
Right. And that's because you have to do processes to the shed.
Correct.
That is no matter what. But once you've done
yes.
that, you've isolated the DNA of the snake. And so then you just have to use a different set of primers each time to target different regions to the DNA that you've extracted from the shed. And so like that's why the cost isn't triple. But it would be if you sent in a shed and then 6 months later decided to test for pied also, right? Because they have to extract it a second time.
Because they have to do that process again. So
Right.
you're paying for that process, and then they're going to discount anything extra that you want to add to that single process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so a lot of it relies on peer-reviewed research that has been published in other species. So like the lavender albino and albino were first figured out in berms, and then Dr. Seidel worked out the best probes for ball pythons, and then Ben can use it because she published that data. So how long will it take for G-stripe to get picked? It could be like a decade because you have to look for it and then I find it.
You have to be able to identify that DNA sequence so that you can put an assay to it, right? Assay, sorry.
Essay,
sorry, I'm doing biology and there were some big words in there and I'm like,
I know
Jessica said these words. So
it's all podcast off.
And Jessica being my friend is going to help me nail that biology class.
Yeah, it didn't help you breed ball pythons, but it will help you get a firm C-, maybe. All right. Thanks for being here, Lindsay. Y'all are doing great. I'm glad our 4 people are here. That's all we really need.
Right.
Okay.
And yes, I always try Lindsay for the people in the back because that would be me.
All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes. No long. We had a fucking 20-minute intro last week, and
it was our first live. I'm sure people expect
I was like,
that.
holy shit! If people don't leave right away, then they're idiots. Okay, let's talk about a dirty looking G-stripe in a bowl on a dirty piece of paper.
Cool. Those are like the hottest pictures on Morph Market. My favorite.
So I had to pick this one because he's the best example ever of all the properties of a G-stripe that are extra to me.
Correct.
So what is a G-stripe, Jana, to you, or the identifying characteristics?
The identifying characteristics is that big bold stripe down the back. Sometimes it's solid. Most of the time it's got a couple breaks. And then it takes out the alien heads. And sometimes it's washes the sides completely clean. And sometimes, like in this example, which I agree with you is a better example for the gene because you could do more with it, it leaves a basic form of the alien heads. They're just kind of, like they don't have the alien heads. They're just kind of like smoothed out, but you still have pattern there. Yes. And then it also, you can get differing degrees of dark brown because this is a normal G-stripe. You could get differing degrees of that darker color outlining that dorsal stripe.
Yeah, there's some normal G-stripes that look like leopard G-stripes.
Correct.
Just coming out of and you're like, oh.
So when I am looking at G-stripes to add that are single genes, which I don't have many of, this is a prime example of one that I would look for because that extra pattern is going to help us when we convert that into G-stripe clown. That extra pattern is going to help us when we add a bunch more genes in it. It's just giving you more potential. If it was a G-stripe that was completely had the sidewalls washed, I feel like there's less you can do with it. Yes, it looks better visually.
Right, this looks more like the wild type. It's
correct.
But this is the one you want for your Kiki combos, polygenetically, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that was why I wanted to bring it up. People don't talk about it ever. I've never heard anybody be like, what kind of G-stripe should you be selecting to start?
Yeah, like which kind is the higher quality?
Right. And in the case of something that would reduce the dickens out of it, you want the most pattern to start with. Because then you have something to work with.
Correct. It's like similar to how in clown, if you're wanting it to be a really busy clown, you're definitely not going to get a blade clown, or you're not going to get a reduced looking clown as your base because, in ball pythons, we don't really talk a lot about, help me out,
polygenetic
Yes,
traits.
yes, and we don't talk a lot about like what the base looks like. And so when you're going to do something that you're trying to be busy or add more pattern to, you don't use the reducing genes like blade. And you also want something with more patterns. So even if it's not a blade clown, when I'm looking at clowns for my G-stripe clown project, I treat it the same as I do for the genetic stripes. You want something that still has a lot of patterns. So even for other projects, some people wouldn't consider that the nicest clown for a different project or the nicest genetic stripe. Most people prefer the smoother side genetic stripes visually. But what we're trying to say here is you have to think about what you're doing in the long run. And so this base is better for us because there's more you can do because you can manipulate that pattern more. But if there's no pattern to manipulate, you're just making different colored like brown slugs or orange slugs or and that's not appealing. And that, well, I mean, maybe it is appealing to some people, but for me,
I love slugs.
It reduces what you can do, the potential of the project. And if you start out with lots of pattern, you have more potential to create something really incredible.
So, and then the format of this silly little thing that we're doing here is tier lists. Who plays video games? Anybody?
I feel like I need to play video games as a prerequisite for this.
Yeah. So we're going to go through many of the current Kikis that exist, and we're going to try to come to an agreement with chat coming in as the sort of tiebreaker vote if we can't decide how cool it is or not. And the Kiki section will just be like, how cool is it? And maybe a little bit of like, what's the potential to combo out? And then we'll go through G-stripe single genes, not how good they look themselves, but how good they would look in Kiki, and then make a tier list that way. It's basically just a review of the current state of the morph for Kiki, and then like the near term future, like what combos you should be putting in based on what we currently know about Kiki. Does that make sense?
843, welcome. Yes, that makes sense.
Excellent. All right, the first one is the original.
The original. Can we all hear like the angels in the background?
Ah. So it was made by, gosh, what was his name? His last name was Blueford.
Yeah, it's Ninja Pythons, right?
Yeah. Shout out.
Shout out.
Bunshin no Jutsu.
I have no idea what you just said.
Do you watch Naruto?
No. I don't know what that is.
You don't know what that is.
Always disappointing, Jessica. You guys are now here for it live.
I don't know how to function right this second. His logo is a ninja on top of a frog, but you've never watched Naruto. Okay. Well, I'm disappointed in Jana once again. We'll move on.
I actually think we've had this argument before.
This has happened a lot.
Yeah.
Have you watched Hunter x Hunter yet?
No.
Dang it.
So this is the genetic stripe clown. It is stunning. It has no other genes. I love this project.
Oh, his name's Kevin. I don't know why I forgot. Sorry, Kevin. Kevin Blueford. Yeah. The best part about it is it's like a perfect fight. This is the Shatter corn snake of ball pythons, where they fight together in a 1 + 1 = 4 way. There's a clearly additive property instead of just diminishing either, because G-stripe wants it to be a side stripe and clown wants it to be a genetic blackback. And they're like, they fight perfectly evenly and make a very cool snake. To me
also.
All right,
I'm
good.
Heavily into this project. I wish I was more into this project.
All right.
After this video, I'm gonna run out and I'm gonna sell all my clown pies and then just dump it hard into it. We'll see.
Maybe. All right, let's rank the original. Ready? I'm gonna go. I say B because it's like the basic.
I agree. Basic, but
it's hot. But
it's hot as hell.
In some ways, it's better than other combo versions because it has more pattern, but basic
bitch, but she is queen bitch.
Nice. Okay. Now This one was produced by Crow Family Morphs. It's on Morph Market right now if you want to go buy it, everybody at home.
And
It
it's
is a
female
pastel Kiki.
So if any of you just have, I can't even read that price. Oh, it's only 8,500.
A bargain.
Guys. A bargain.
What do you think about pastel this isn't like the best picture, but I wanted to like highlight people who had stuff currently for sale because there's a big crop of Kikis right now on Morph Market.
Don't tell me that. I've been trying
A huge crop, a bounty.
A bounty.
So we want everybody to go buy them so Jana can feel bad about herself.
No. Okay.
How do you feel about pastel by itself in Kiki?
So I in general do not love pastel, and I really don't love pastel in clown, but I do not hate pastel in genetic stripe clown. Also, Kevin is the one that nicknamed this project Kiki because since he was the first to do it, he gets the rights to do that, and that's his daughter's nickname. So that's why it has that name.
Yeah, it's a cute name. It's fine.
Yeah, so I think that it is fine. It does. I don't hate it. I would love to see it at 300 grams to see at what level does it brown out, but I think it's adding to the original. I don't think that it's shitting on it.
So it does look like it's reduced it a little bit in this example, but we can't know what it would have looked like polygenetically without the other parts.
Correct.
So I think this one is like fine-ish, but to me, pastel may be like a secret hack, and I'll get into why I think that later. So I have to like give it a higher rank of like speculative. It could be a good combo. And then Beast Morphs, Montana Mike, Reptiles, and William Philip Becker here. Hey, guys.
Hey.
So what do we think for ranking?
I would probably put it in B as well.
So it probably looks empirically worse than the regular, but has some potential to me.
See, and I don't think that it looks worse, but I definitely think it has a lot of potential. I know you like it busier, but I don't think that it reduced it enough that it was tragic.
It ruined it?
It didn't ruin it. And it added some other features, but if we could get some pattern back into it with the pastel, it would really, I think, sing. So yeah, B.
B's a good answer.
And for those at home, when you add pastel to it, it makes, like a bright yellow base, and then it's reducing the crazy G-stripe clown pattern and it's allowing more of the stripe to push through. So that's making it not fight as hard with the clown. And we would like it to fight with the clown. And so that's why she's saying that it's not as good as the original, is because it is reducing. And in this project, I think reducing isn't the direction that you should go with it.
Right. And then the tendency to be striped isn't always a pastel feature. Sometimes the regular Kikis will do that, and it won't be chevrons at all, just a stripe. I saw some, but I didn't grab a picture of it. So that's why I would like you're trying to force the chevrons to be big enough to do something with. So if they're dorsolaterally striped like that, you're defeating your own project to me. Okay. Now, on to the banana G-stripe clown. Garrett Meyer. He's like the patron saint of Kiki. Even though Kevin Bluefort made it, Garrett is like...
He's got the most adults producing, and he has produced the most genetic stripe clowns, and he is my hero, and I want to be best friends with him and give him all my money. OMG. For the people on audio only. Go ahead, Jessica.
I'm not reading it.
Okay, 403 Fauna said that Kiki in his native language, which is Tagalog, which if you don't know, that's the language spoken in the Philippines. It means vagina. Come on, everybody. How perfect is that? I
know, it works out awesomely.
And now the world makes sense.
Oh, so I like this one a lot. It's hard not to like it, right?
Oh, good, because I thought you hated banana. I
I don't hate
fucking
banana. I just think
love this.
banana is sort of monocolored banana core glow. And so it's hard to get like this fine gradations of variation that you need. That's, you know what I mean?
Right. So for all the people who aren't following my sob story, this is the snake I was supposed to purchase from Garrick before I decided
Oh,
to break my home and get a divorce. And so this one particularly burns because this is a fine ass snake.
yeah. And this one is an example where it's relatively high pattern, but a lot of it is striped. So like this isn't Pastel's fault that it's striped. It just came out that way. So you could definitely choose to selectively breed for a stripy version or not from there.
And you say you don't like that.
So here's what I like is the chevrons that come down that are like the tower part that's just been
Correct.
lopped off.
Yes.
I want like the original Kiki has a bunch of huge geometric ass looking towers and blocks. There, if you made this striped all the way, it would start to look like a G stripe again.
Correct.
So is that a selective breeding project you want to do? It'll have a clown head, so that's kind of cool. But the most unique feature is the geometric shapes.
So I like it when it's a bit of both. This is
Yeah,
a
I mean,
lot. This
it's
is a
an
lot of
attractive
stripe.
animal.
Right. This is a lot of stripe, but I do like it when there is some stripe that you could see that it's genetic stripe clown. But if we like blow up most of the stripe and so there's just some striping, that's actually what I think looks the best.
More,
and we could differ on that opinion.
yeah,
I'm
I don't know.
sure.
It's that's absolutely point of opinion. Do you want? Where do you think? Where do you think? I think
That
it's
is
on an A tier,
that's absolutely an A tier.
but that would have to be like. There's other ones down the line where you're like, is that also an A tier? We'll see. We might have to. We could move them
Stay
afterwards.
tuned. Yes, we may be moving things around. You guys are getting this on the fly.
Yeah, I don't know. It's more the discussion of like why you would like it than having like a firm understanding of the real order you like it. Does that make any fucking sense? No. As usual.
It does. Shut up.
Okay. So this one is American Made Exotics, another banana clown. This one's Post Chocolate. And I want you to look at how many towers remain.
So many.
And
That's
almost a continuous stripe. I think it is chocolate based on.
It's got to be chocolate because that looks nothing like the other bananas that I've seen.
Right. There's so many towers. So chocolate helped if it's there. I mean, it remains to be proven for sure. It has increased the pattern density a lot and made it more funnish, but it didn't look sort of less like a Kiki, more like a T-stripe again. So it's the same sort of balancing act.
But it's
do you like this one better than the other one or the same? This is obviously an older animal too.
The towers are running almost to the bottom for those that are just listening. Whereas in the regular banana, they only run about halfway down. And these, it's opened it up. So as a potential for adding other things in it, this animal has more potential than the other animal because you have more to destroy later. But as like a finished product, this is a building animal. This is not this is the animal, you know, like I said, it's not the pinnacle of what this project can be. Like you said, it's looking more like a G stripe, but it's giving us an amazing base. And so if chocolate is going to add a lot of pattern, that's good to know informationally. And so I do think it's better. Does it look better as it on its own? No, not to me.
Oh, I think it does. All right, let's fight. So where would you put it?
I would put it on A still.
Still, but you don't like it as much.
That doesn't mean that it's not the right animal or the right move for a project.
I know, but we just need to pick a tier. Pick a tier.
A. Don't you pick A? Did you want to fight about it?
Better than that one. Well, all right, chat. What do you think? We need a chat response. Do you think it's A tier or B tier? I'm saving S tier for the other ones, but
boop. They're not going to help us out here. I think we should just slap that into A.
All right. There's a little bit of a delay between us and chat. So William asked a very important question about the Bell complex, but we'll get into that. We don't want to spoil you. There's a whole narrative here. But I think, yes, like if it destroys G-site pattern, it's a lost cause. It's the short answer. But we'll see like pictures where you're like, oh, okay. That's what a waste of time.
And unfortunately, my genetic stripe clown project is littered with fucking lesser. Hate that gene.
But it's also littered with other stuff that it's not that good either.
I know.
Shh. American Made Exotics. This one's for sale. $18,000. One easy payment.
Please one easy payment of
on
a kidney
now, and it's almost breedable
child.
Spot-nose G stripe clown, also by Crow family morphs.
So this is the direction that I am heading. So it's really exciting to see it. It's doing what I want it to do. It's awesome.
I like this one because it's like the chevrons are hanging from stripes instead of like the stripes have made the towers so big. And you'll see that later on.
So this is what I was trying to say about like the happy medium. So like you can tell it's a G stripe, you can tell it's a clown, and you have chevrons to work with on the side pattern. So this is what I mean when I say I like some stripe, but I also want it to be really busy. Whereas the other one before with the chocolate, it looked like a G stripe.
Yeah, it looked a lot like a G stripe.
So the only way that you could tell that it was a G stripe clown is the head. And so this one you can tell in the body, not just the head, that it is clown and genetic stripe. And that, for me, if you take away the G stripe and the genetic stripe clown, then aren't you really just making a cool clown? So for me, I need that G stripe in there because I want it represented, because I love the genetic stripe and I think it gets a bad rap. And so when I am pursuing this project, keeping some of that stripe in there is going to be a big deal for me.
I think it's A tier.
Correct.
For looking different than many kinds of Kikis.
Right. So I just think like if you're working on this project, you definitely need to be adding spot nose to it. So you're welcome. You're welcome for that. Giving away all my trade secrets.
Pro tip.
Damn it.
Now, Justin's spot nose G stripe, Pos red stripe.
That's also Desert Ghost or Enhancer, isn't it?
Not yet.
Oh, sorry.
Didn't bring that one up yet.
Okay.
So this one does not have as much stripe, but I do think it might be a little more colored. Do you think this one is red stripe or not?
Oh, I'm 100% sure it's red stripe.
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
Okay.
And Justin's not. So.
I think the triple has red stripe in it, but this one I don't know. Because you'd think it would be even more striped. But in this case, it's sort of in between, but it's definitely spot nose. All right, what about that one? Where do you rank that one at? It's on here somewhere.
All right, I'm going to get shot for this. I am not a huge fan of red stripe. I think that the spot nose...
Do you think red stripe changed the spot nose? Like, I don't even think red stripe is really in it, but you think it might be. You think it does.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't care for that snake. I don't like it in as far as its potential.
Yeah, it doesn't care for that snake. So what would you want to rank it? B?
I would put it in B, but I'm sure that everyone will scream and want it in A. But for me, that's not the direction I'm going, and it's not doing what I want it to do. So for me, it's too reduced.
Listen, this isn't my project, so
okay.
I'll put it in B. I wouldn't fight over that. I think I still prefer like the original animal is like one of the best animals.
I agree.
The chevrons are so big and pointy. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, big and
Everybody at
pointy.
home. Yeah, if you're at home and you're like, you guys aren't describing it enough, I'm already sorry. But you might, we'll keep trying to describe it, but you might want to switch to the YouTube version if you're audio only currently. Boys and girls. Holy
Come join
mackerel.
us for our beautiful picture show. Oh, what is this hot trash on my screen? For those that are listening, it is a cinnamon genetic stripe clown, and it is a big poop snake.
Yeah, we talked about this, I don't know, a couple months ago now. And it's definitely a Kiki, and it's definitely almost uniformed brown. You can just barely see like where it's choosing to stripe on the dorsal a little bit.
I don't think we need to talk about it other than it's a hot mess and it is not the direction you want to go with your projects. Unless
right, but that means the entire 8-ball complex is gone.
I don't know. I think that if we try with something that's on the so there's like a degree of reactions that they add. So like HRA is a less severe.
What about D rank?
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
this isn't like throw it in the trash. Throw it in the trash is like Z rank. It's totally fine. It just wouldn't be the gene you would prefer to buy in.
So I have this gene in my project and I'm not getting rid of them, but those will be the ones I try to sell, but they're a hard sell for anybody. I don't know. I mean, like when you see the banana G-stripe clown, it's not as awful, but
You mean the banana cinnamon G-stripe clown?
yes, thank you.
I think that's fast.
It's not as awful. So it's it's so painful to look at, guys.
I think that's next. Nope. This is the pastel yellow belly G-stripe crown. This is Marquee Reptiles and it's sold. Sorry.
I love it.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's an exciting number of chevrons. There's a decent amount of crossover between chevrons, but there's still a good amount of striping.
Yep.
And the yellow belly has asked pastel to make a clear but still a tower is still there. It's just not that edged in black going towards the belly. It's pretty cool. The pastel color palette hurts my feelings a little bit, but I think it for potential, I would put it here.
Correct. It's an A for me too. Also, my long-term goal for this project is triple het, DG or enhancer. I have a lot more enhancer than I do DG, but they're compatible and interchangeable. So my project moving in that direction, enhancer DG in that will react well with pastel, and so I want pastel in my project, and I think that's a beautiful animal even though it's not the triple visual.
Is it an animal?
Animal.
William asked the longevity of the G-stripe clown.
So I know that G-stripe gets shit on a lot, but I think that this is breathing life back into the project. And so when I first started 2.5 years ago, even adult female genetic stripes were like $200. And so it was just like a really devalued project, almost like hypo. And so this has breathed life back into it and thus made genetic stripe higher in value. And historically, double recessive visuals do very well and retain their value a lot longer. But Jessica, why don't you weigh in, because you're good at talking about money potential and long-term money potential.
So to me, the anything's long-term potential has to do, I mean, the biggest factor is how much fun it is to make combos with it. So G-stripe was diminished in the market because lots of the combos are samey looking, like extremely samey looking. So if the Kiki combos, we cannot establish what are the sort of nexus of types to make different variants off of, I think Kiki will be troubled in the end. But right now, to me, it looks like there's potential to figure out fun things for 10 years or so, where you're like, I don't know what to do with that. Cool. So I think long term, it's fine. I am deeply troubled by the homogeneity of G stripes, though. Like, I have looked at more G stripes in the last day, and I'm like, fuck. I know why this project went tits up, because it fucking sucks. It sucks. They're incredibly homogeneous between vastly different morphs.
And shitting on my project, guys.
Yeah, it is largely the most boring thing I've ever seen. But
so
in Kiki, there's like a chance to do something different. It's just we have to do this stupid tier list and figure out which ones are the best case scenarios right now.
Right. I also think that it's breathed new life into the G stripe because people are playing with the G stripe while getting to the G stripe clown. And so, I think Justin once said, like a project can be forgotten about or dormant or not on anybody's radar until you find the right genes that really make it sing. And so I don't think we've done that yet, but I think we're moving in that direction. Like people are adding. Is it okay if I talk about this since we're going to talk about that later?
I don't know what you're going to talk about.
Okay.
Are you going to spoil the future snakes?
Yeah, I won't say the genes. So people are adding in more genes that are bringing pattern back, kind of like the Champagne project. And so while working it into the G stripe clown, they're also working the genetic stripe project again. And so we're seeing more potential for busyness and for different looks rather than same. And so I think as we discover those things and working towards a double het project, or if you have G stripes that are het for clown, that it's adding a lot more to the G stripe project. So the people who really love that project are excited because it's getting worked again and we're finding new things that I think in turn will lend value in the long term while this other project is being worked. I think it's going to carry the genetic stripe recessive with it.
I mean, I hate many things. G stripe I don't hate. I'm just like continuously disturbed by how samey, extremely different genes can look in G stripe that we've already tried. And we're like, oh, we'll see lots of pictures of that. Okay. Constricted reptiles, pastel butter G stripe. How do you feel about it?
You know how I feel about this gene. This gene is my arch nemesis. But I don't hate it. It's not really the direction that I'm wanting to go, but I'm going to definitely have it. I mean, there's just no two ways around that. So I'm glad that it's not crappy.
It'll look like hot garbage when it grows up, though. Like it
right.
looks okay now. It's just gonna really.
I don't love that they put pastel in with the lesser because I think that they're not doing any favors to each other. But it's not the most awful one.
It's pretty awful.
It's net neutral for me.
Net neutral. All right. What do we think?
It's probably like B or C.
It's definitely not B.
Okay, so C.
Let's do C. Okay. We can. The tier ranking part doesn't really matter. Super pastel G stripe clown. Constricted reptiles. Also for sale.
So DNA reptilia, yes, it is a long road. We will talk about the genetic stripe project after we finish with the Kikis. And I will comment on what genes I'm trying to put in to add pattern.
Mm-hmm. So this one is interesting because to the audio only people, it's the color palette of a pastel clown or super pastel clown, but all of the chevrons have been squared off and expanded, but also like stone washed away. Have you seen any other Kiki that is squared off like that ever?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. So like
it's doing
I'm not like loving the color palette, but I'm loving that it's something different.
Correct. Like I said, pastel unfortunately is in the plan for this project because long term I think it's going to benefit from being a triple recessive project with the Desert Ghost or Enhancer in it. And so I think that this has a lot of potential for that triple because of the squares that it's doing. And if you add more into that, it's going to hopefully do even more crazy things.
Mm-hmm. A.
It's barely in the A. It could be a B.
Okay.
But it does hold potential, so don't throw it in the trash.
No. So there's actually two of these banana lesser G-stripe clowns. There's this one. And then there's this one. And they are ostensibly the same morph.
So the other one, the first one she showed was extremely reduced pattern, and they have made the towers very short and striped them almost.
It almost looks like a pinstripe combo.
Correct. It's very broken, and the chevrons have been made very tiny, and they're following along with the main stripe. But the other one, this is why we've been talking about polygenics, and why you want to start with a busier base. So the next one, it still has its alien heads. That the towers shrink towards the belly, but they are very expanded at the top where the stripe is. I'm very excited to see this one. When I saw it, I was like, my project is not ruined. It is not in ruins. It maybe.
They look like ginkgo leaves.
It for me, this is a very, very. It was very exciting to see this. This is a Garrick DeMeyer creation, of course. And when he posted it to his Instagram, I literally cried tears of joy because I have.
Right, but doesn't this one scare you because you don't know how busy or not busy your stuff is underneath?
It terrifies me because that one is not good. It's hot garbage. But the other one you could do a lot with. And so
yeah, this one's hot, not hot, but they're the same thing. Polygenics, it means everything. Everybody at home, whatever you're doing, stop what you're doing and pick high quality animals that meet your goals.
Correct.
All right, where do you rank the hot one?
The hot one is an A for me. It's A, even pushing.
What about this one?
S. That is a D. That is hot
D.
Trash. Hot trash.
It's no turd. Let's put it in C.
Okay. That's fine. I can live with that.
All right. Now the banana pastel lesser G-stripe, also by Garrick DeMeyer. Very diffuse.
It's very diffused. You can barely see the pattern. I mean, you can tell it's a clown if you work really a lot with clown. Maybe it's a G-stripe. I mean, this is what people feared the snake would look like if you added it to clown, because sometimes genetic stripe does look like this hot garbage. And so this is not the direction the project should be going. This is not what we're trying to do, people. We're not trying to reduce it. We're trying to add a lot of pattern, and we're trying to make it fight. The two recessives fight. That is not what's happening here. They are reducing each other. G-stripe has taken over and done all of the bad things to clown. You do not want an animal that looks like this in your project.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate. I would put that one in D tier.
Absolutely.
Okay. Powerful male, able to do many things. One easy payment of $9,000. Please go buy it. But
so if I had to
double up this stuff,
right? So if I had the choice, so just so you know, like reference wise, the banana G-stripe clown that we saw earlier by Garrick, same price as the pastel lesser or banana G-stripe clown. If I was getting this male for my project, I would get the one that was just banana instead of this hot garbage. Just so you know.
It depends on if you had females that didn't have stuff that would conflict.
Oh, that's fair. All my females have lesser, so I don't need a white snake that I have no idea what the fuck it is.
We mentioned it earlier. It's the banana cinnamon G-stripe clown, also from Garrick. So this one has the cinnamon problem where the whole thing is diffused with minimal pattern, but a little bit at the tail. But because it's orange, it just looks nicer.
It looks way nicer, and you can see the pattern again, and so it's just not a slug. And so the potential to do more with that is there, whereas with just a cinnamon, it's not there at all. And so, like I said, I don't believe that cinnamon or black pastel are the direction of this. Like I said, my jury's still out on HRA, but this is not the direction I'm planning to head with the project. Even though I have it in my females, I will probably be selling any that come out with this. But it has more potential now that you've added the banana because it's turned things, orange and purple. But like I said, I don't think that's where the project should be heading.
Yeah, I'm scared of the entire complex. I think I've made that clear. C rank, right?
Yep.
It is beautiful, though. It's just the complex has ruined it. More evidence for the complex being problematic. The super inchy Kiki by GB Pythons.
So we greatly differ on our opinion of this. This will be a fun discussion.
Yeah.
This is a very powerful animal. This is part of the discussion for later, but Enchi in Genetic Stripe has huge potential for the Genetic Stripe project. This is a super form, and so genetically very powerful, but it's reducing a lot. And we've talked a lot about how to be careful about reduction. And so it reduces clown, but it explodes Genetic Stripe. So in the single form, do we have a single form?
No, I don't think one
I don't think one
made yet.
I was just checking because I couldn't find one. So a lot of genetic potential. I would love to see the single form Enchi instead of the super form, because I believe, it is my belief, that it will have the busyness fighting with the reduction that happens in clown, and it's going to do something cool. I don't hate this animal. Like I said, pattern is king. So this isn't doing what we want, but it's also not hot garbage.
Yeah, it's fine. I think you're 100% wrong. And we'll talk about it later.
On a weekly basis, guys. Just like, stop putting Enchi in your project, bitch.
In this case, this is evidence enough to me that even though Enchi accentuates G-stripe, it does not accentuate. It reduces in clown. So the clown won, and so you have less pattern. It's still like its own cool thing. It's sort of like these little mitosis blobs where cells are splitting. So that's fine. It's just when you build your Kiki project and you're building it on the like increasing size of a G stripe, if it is reducing in clown, you're not building it correctly. You will get little blobs.
Okay, well,
That's
I'm
my
going to
theory.
still do it. And then,
right.
When we get there, you can say, I told you so, or I can say, see what it's doing? Isn't that badass? We'll see, guys.
It's still fine. I think it's going to make little dots. Where do you want to put it?
I want to put it in B, but you're probably going to, okay, that's fine. Cool.
Listen,
she gave me that one, guys.
Now, we're moving on. Multi-gene combos. The ODYB red stripe Kiki from Aussie Boyds. You can't see very much of it in this picture, but it's mostly a stripe. I've seen like more pictures of it. Real squished. And then a color gradient of like creamy white up to the stripe. And then the dorsal is like a normal color.
So
it's cool looking.
It's cool looking. I don't necessarily think Orange Dream is going to help this project.
Right, it's a reducer.
It's a reducer
in both forms.
But if we can add something that's going to give us some pattern back, the color gradient is gorgeous. Just without the broken patterns, because it's literally pulled the side pattern into long stripes. I think you're going to, like, people aren't going to get excited about that. So it's a beautiful animal, but it needs more crazy busyness. And so if we could get that gradient and the coloration that it has, that's gorgeous. But Orange Dream is not something I have in this project. So
and you barely even get to like enjoy what Yellow Belly does because it's white.
You have no enjoyment from the Yellow Belly.
So Where do you put that one?
And for me, that's a B or a C.
C. No,
Yeah.
it's definitely a B.
Oh, okay.
Come
Well,
look at what's in the tier, right?
I see it. I see
All
it.
right. Like it's probably even better than like a pastel, right? But there's not enough tiers. That's okay. That's what's fun about tiers is fucking make stuff up. Now just the plain enhancer Kiki. You got two sort of variants here. This was by Designing Morphs. A stripier one and a regular one. What do you think, Jana?
This is the pinnacle of what I'm trying to do. So, I mean, do you even have to ask? Put a fucking crown on that shit and call it S.
I wasn't going to put anything in S originally because I think there is but I mean, for this discussion, it's fine. But I think the best Kiki has never been made yet.
We still don't know what that combination
right,
is
I don't
going to
know
be
what to
or what it's
put
going to look there.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's like a double S rank that does not exist to me because it is cool, but it looks like an enhancer Kiki, right? It doesn't look transformed.
Yeah, I didn't add to it other than just making it super bright and super clean.
Yeah, it did reduce a little bit.
But like you said, that could be polygenic, like, so we don't know what his regular genetic stripe clowns look like.
I feel like enhancer reduces, so I'm gonna blame
we
enhancer for it.
We have that argument too.
It does it reduce. And then the last one is Justin's enhancer Kiki with spot nose pos red stripe. It's definitely spot nose. I think it is red stripe. What do you think?
I think
There's
it is
Justin
as well.
Yelling.
He's yelling at us, guys. He lost his cool. That never happens.
I think it is because of the internal color on the now, like, I don't know, olive oil vases from ancient Rome.
So
like
I said, red stripe is not the direction I plan on going. Obviously, that's like a cornerstone in Justin's armada. So a lot of his famous clown combinations have red stripe. For me, that's not what I plan on doing. Spot nose is definitely in the plan. It's very reduced, but it's
more
not
reduced
gone
than the other spot nose if everyone wants to remember back.
Right. And so I don't know if that's the red stripe reducing it or
it's
what.
That's a fucking
if it's the desert ghost,
you know it is.
I know. Fuck you.
Fucking that dumb shit. Just fucking ultramelt or something. Puzzle. God, who knows, William? Who knows what a puzzle Kiki looks like?
So a puzzle Kiki or a puzzle clown was not great, and I don't think a G-stripe puzzle has been done. So you have the potential that it could just the clown and the G-stripe are fighting, and you add puzzle, and puzzle could just be canceled out. But we really don't know. That's not the direction.
Who knows?
That's not really I wouldn't choose to go in that direction, but I'm sure someone eventually will. But for me, the G stripe is doing what people wanted puzzle to do in clown.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. I have a feeling the puzzle Krypton or Cryptic will be better than the puzzle clown because it's fighting perpendicularly instead of laterally, but who knows?
That's a good point to make here too. Also, I am going to be working Cryptic G stripe and clown G stripe and trying to put the same genes into the project and to see how that affects it. And so there has been a Cryptic genetic stripe made, and it was different, very different from a G-stripe clown. And I'm excited about both projects. So I will be working them at the same time. My big powerhouse male this season is a Krypton. So that'll be exciting just to see what it does and be able to work it simultaneously. But I think it has potential to be doing something very different than what the genetic stripe clown does.
Mm-hmm. They look nice. All right, boys and girls. Now we're on to the next tier list. Hopefully this one can go faster because we don't have to describe it because you can just go look it up. Just like, what is the potential for this incomplete dominant in G-stripe if you put it into Kiki? Because there's obviously some debate here about if it's a strong G-stripe gene, is it a good Kiki gene? What do you think about the G-stripe yellow belly, Jana?
G-stripe, I mean, yellow belly to G-stripe, that is 100% the direction I'm going with my G-stripe project. And it is definitely something that I am working with in my Kiki project. I think that spot nose yellow belly in Kiki is a good direction to go, even though we haven't seen that yet. I think it has a lot of potential to help the project. I would put B or A.
B.
B or
B
A.
is middle of the road.
Middle of the road.
A. I think there's very few genes that will do anything in Kiki, and I think the yellow belly complex is one of them, except for Spectre. Ignore Spectre. Don't we all?
It's the ugly stepchild of the complex.
Yeah.
I'm putting yellow belly. I'm also putting gravel. So we'll see.
Spot nose. So the spot nose G-stripe, let's all remember, kind of sucks. It's a reducer in G-stripe and it made a little brighter, but it made a better Kiki.
So I think this is a terrible example of the spot nose in genetic stripe. But usually it makes the back stripe light up. And then it does.
Right. It is like a brightener naturally.
Correct. And so I've seen some good examples of the spot nose G stripe, and it's a very pretty base of the animal. It obviously cannot stand by itself. It needs some other things in there, but it's great in Kiki, and I think that it has a lot of potential in the G stripe project alone. So I disagree. I disagree with you, Jessica. I think this is
I don't care about G-stripe because it's not a clown. So I'm only looking at these G-stripes for their potential in Kiki at this time.
The potential is humongous. So that needs to go.
But I think the whole point is like what looks good in G-stripe or not good or just okay
or good even in
does
clown
not even translate to Kiki half the time.
Correct.
So I think spot nose is extremely high also for its Kiki potential. I'd even put it S tier.
Even though it does reduce some of the pattern.
It's an opener.
Yes.
In clown. So when clown gets in there, it opens in a way that none of these other ones do. So what can you do when you open a pattern on a ball python? You can put color in it. So I mean, you could almost do that too.
We can't put them all up there. That's cheating.
This is a potential. So we're just making shit up at this point. We're guesstimating.
We're always making shit up.
I know. Jana is. So this is the leopard G-stripe by Garrick Meyer, Royal Tails Designs. Arguably the best gene in G-stripe. Maybe.
Not arguably. Hands down.
Hands down, says Jana. It adds most juicy border and brings up from the belly like sort of almost like
it's doing
spots.
All the right things that we want to see in the genetic stripe. However, you have to consider that in clown, leopard is a reducer of pattern, and so seeing it in Kiki will be interesting to see what it does because they are fighting each other. I don't think
one has been made. I looked and I couldn't find one.
I have not seen one yet. I know Garrick Meyer is working on it.
This year?
I don't know if it was in any of his combos this year. It definitely will be next year. But he was I believe the first person to hit the leopard G-stripe.
It's great. I think it's going to be terrible in Kiki. I mean, it's worth like keeping it on your radar, something to try.
She's killing my soul right now.
But I think it's going to be terrible. It'll be like just little dots, just like the Inchi was. Sorry.
We disagree on this, so we'll see.
That's fine. It's still mid tier right now as like possible, but I don't know how you can think it wouldn't be dots, right?
If the G-stripe adding pattern wins out to the clown reducing pattern, or if it fights in a cool way, then I'm going to prove you wrong, bitch.
All right. So like the inchy G stripe, since we saw the super inchy Kiki, it's okay. It's reducing. There are very few examples that have a lot of downward. It's mostly like a color changer, but it decreases the intensity up here because inchy's a color changer as well.
So I have
This
a
is my kickballs, by the way.
I have a pastel inchy genetic
All right,
stripe.
don't talk about that. It's for later.
Oh, fuck you, bitch. It's relevant to the conversation.
Okay, I won't show it then. All right, I will show it.
I think this is
now I have to
matter.
find it.
And you don't have to show it. It's fine. You can find it on my Instagram feed. It's fine.
No, it was on the list of things to be shown.
Oh.
The point of the story was inchy is a reducer, but with pastel, it is an extender.
Correct.
Right.
You killed my point, bitch.
I know. Well, you're supposed to look at the notes. There's a sequence of events.
I don't even have my notes open. So, so there it is.
Okay. All right. So inchy to me is pretty mid because it's a reducer, so it needs help. So I would say continue to be mid. It does look cool in G stripe, but I would say mid to low mid. What do you think?
For me, that's an A or a B, but like I said, we greatly disagree on leopard and inchy in this project.
Split Why do you think that? You've seen what it does. It reduces to nothing. So like, unless you add spot nose cypress or something that spreads it out, that's the only way to get
and yellow belly.
Okay,
and
but
inchy,
you're
and
looking
leopard.
At just those ones, what they can do in combos. They all need help. We'll see. We'll have to fight it out later.
Yeah, we will. Pow, pow.
Yeah, I'm definitely not in this project, though, by the way, in case anybody's wondering.
Yeah, and literally we've had this argument 47,000 times.
Calico clown. There's not very many pictures of calico clowns.
G-stripe.
Or sorry, yeah.
This is the only one I've seen, actually.
There's a bunch of sold ones on Morph Market, but there's no like current ones available for sale.
I love this animal. As far as the genetic stripe project, I am very excited. This year, she will be going to probably my banana leopard yellow belly genetic stripe to see what that does, and then I'll add it into Kiki. But I love calico in this project. I will be putting it in my Kiki project. I want to see what it does. And Jessica disagrees, right?
No, calico is an expander of pattern in clown, so there's no reason it will be equivalent to spot nose's ability to expand.
Right. I'm very excited to see the potential of calico in this project. This excites me for the G-stripe project. It excites me for the G-stripe clown project. I am. Woo!
Obviously, there will be no white on it. Is that obvious? I assume there will be no white because there's no white on a clown calico. Could be, but I doubt it.
There's a lot of white. There's a lot of white when on the orange stream Kiki. So
no, I mean calico white. Like the white is derived from the calico gene.
I don't know. I think
that like white wall effect has nothing to do with calico. Is that what you're saying? What are you arguing for?
I'm saying we don't know what it's going to do, that it may fight with the.
I know right now we're speculating.
We're speculating. I think
it will have white on it. That would be cool, but I do not think it'll have white on it because the calico clown does not have it.
In my heart of hearts, I want it to have white because
if it does, it'd be very cool.
Very fucking cool if it does that. We'll see. And if you add it with yellow belly, who knows what it could do? Something fucking crazy could come out. So
yeah, I mean the non-pay Kiki will be the best pay Kiki, in my opinion.
Correct.
Obviously. I mean, we're on board there. That would be the best one. The G-stripe acid, we've been talking about acid for 3. Vaughn talking about it. To me, it is the hot, incomplete dominant to add to the project.
It's like 1 or 2 on my list of hot shit to add.
Right, because everything else barely does shit. This is the only one that does anything. But in the single gene form, it doesn't do a ton.
It does not help the G-stripe at all. It almost is like, are you sure that has acid in it?
Right.
Like
very interesting.
How how are you calling that? Like, what are you looking at that's telling you that there's acid in that? And to me, nothing. So
A
did you
S tier. And but that's only because of the combos we've seen with it
in clown
and in G stripe with
so
more
even though
stuff
it
in
did
it.
not, oh, with more stuff in it. Okay, I was like, it did nothing. So you're really, really okay. Fine.
Yeah, we're making shit up.
Making shit up. Cool.
S tier. I can't think of another besides spreaders and stuff. Not like that, Jana. That will change Kiki as much as acid confusion will, because they aren't reducers in clown, but still have strong pattern effects. Pastel G stripes. And this one's Posse Yellow Belly by BC Balls. This one probably is Yellow Belly.
I was just gonna say that is Yellow Belly. Maybe I should message them later. I'm real sure that's Yellow Belly because pastel by itself does not look that good.
It's not that line.
It's not that lined. It's not that yellow orange gradient at the side. That's Yellow Belly doing all of that because Yellow Belly brightens the dorsal stripe and it does the blushing up the sides, but it's a solid blushing, not in between the alien heads because there are no alien heads.
Right. Pastel normally takes away all potential towers, flames, and not always, but a lot of them.
But
the Yellow Belly has smoothed it out the rest of the way.
As far as potential for the project, I think it does have potential.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, pastel G stripes are gross. Once you actually look at the combos, then you realize you almost have to have pastel. So,
right, I agree.
Whoopsie
dipsies.
Yeah, it's a weird.
It's hard to say you need pastel.
Yeah, I don't.
It's a hard sentence.
I don't want it, but you need it.
Right. Correct. It pains my soul to say pastel has potential in a project. It literally is physically hard.
The Cypress G stripe by
I didn't even know that had been fucking made. Holy shit. I just learned something new. This is by GB Pythons. And
I like this one a lot.
I love this one.
It's got a lot of contrast on its dorsal stripe. It doesn't have any towers or crossovers, but the dorsal stripe has been narrowed. And there's a lot of white that's like coming up where the flame should be.
But it's like jagged. So it's like trying to leave room for the alien heads and pattern.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
Cypress is up there with acid. So the two #1 genes I want to add to my collection are Cypress and acid. And this Cypress is showing a lot of potential in the Kiki project.
Yeah, I think I already said it, but Cypress, it will be like a spot nose in Kiki. It will spread the chevrons, spread them all out and open them up so you could put color inside of them like it does in clown currently. Because you don't need spot nose to make a red clown anymore. Jana.
Correct.
I know. Crazy. Crazy days we live in. What do you think? S rank? Hell yeah.
Well, Cypress is usually in the S for any project. If you don't have Cypress, go get it, like me.
Oh, man, brother. GHI G stripe by A-List Animals.
Womp, womp, womp.
Yeah, I love GHI.
It has ruined GHI, guys, for the people on audio. It's a brown slug with a slightly less brown stripe.
There's no
borders.
There's no border at all.
Nothing.
Crazy. It just
hot
this
trash.
Animal and animals like this that we're going to keep looking at. I just started to form a little theory that the genes that spread towers laterally, like Mojave and Lesser and GHI, are not the ones to pick based on these animals. Cinnamon, they spread them this way because something about that makes a non-bordered G-stripe. So a GHI Kiki, based on this phenotype here, will probably be like a uniform gray-brown color like this cinnamon. I don't know this is a fact. No, one does not exist. But now this is what I'm guessing.
I don't think you're wrong, but I'm still gonna try it and see because I love GHI is like one of my favorite genes, and I gotta see it before I
Yeah,
can agree with you.
everyone, all
But
these dumb
I
opinions we have for sure do not preclude trying. But I'm just
I
like, if you're gonna buy into a project at this
in
point,
thought, I agree that you are correct. That's probably not the direction of the project, but because I love the genes so much, I have to be sure. Whereas the Bell genes and the 8-ball genes, I just know that that's not the direction I want to go. So the GHI.
yeah, we suck at announcing things correctly.
Oh,
Gray family snakes.
yeah, we didn't put it up. So we'll be here, Gray Family Snakes, every Friday, 9:45, 10-ish. Probably the time we'll list is
That's
10.
Pacific Standard Time.
Pacific
Everybody.
Standard Time, Jana time, because
Jana.
we have to talk in Jana time because I'm a little slow sometimes. So we will be here every Friday from here on out, unless we announce differently. So even if you don't see an announcement, if you are subscribed on YouTube, you will see about 2 days beforehand.
Yeah, we'll have like a thumbnail and like a pending.
Right. So you can sign up to be notified when we start and whatever. So that's where you'll see it. We will try, if we're not crazy busy, to remind everybody day before with like on our Instagrams and stuff. But just know that we are here now. And this is where you can get your content. If you miss it, the video will be uploaded as soon as we're done here to YouTube, and the audio will come out probably 2 days later. So that is the new schedule and for the foreseeable future, because we're busy as fuck.
All right, the Mojave G stripe. I love Mojaves, Jana.
I know. I'm sorry.
Then I even like went looking for a nice one that was really young, right?
And this is a nice one, by the way.
Yeah, some of them aren't that nice. It's like GHI.
Yep, you've already stated that. Yeah,
I'm just showing how sad I am. That everything I like is not good in this project. So,
but like I said, polygenics can play a big role. So we've seen in the Kiki conversation that the two different lesser Kikis, that one was busy and one was not. So if you are careful about your polygenics, it is possible to use it in your projects and not to create hot trash. But like Jessica said, when it's expanding laterally, we know how it reacts in Kiki because we've seen it. Lesser has been produced, and we believe that the Bell genes will act the same way. Cinnamon has been produced, so we know and believe that 8-balls will react in the same way. And so this technically is not the direction you should go. But if you're really careful with your polygenics and you have a busy base, then you have the potential to
polygenics can save all kinds of stuff. But right now, if you're like, I have $8,000 to spend, what's the one combo I want to get in there?
These would not be them.
Yeah.
But I have them already in my project. And so it can be saved because I also have really good polygenics with busy clowns and busy G stripes, but don't do it on purpose. Don't seek it out as something you're going to add to your Kiki project. But if it's in there, it's not the end of the world.
Unless you like it,
be okay.
What do we know?
Okay. Yeah, maybe that's where your heart's set. You work that till your heart's content. I will sell you all the all the ones I have, and you work it till your heart's content. But don't go out, in my opinion, and buy these on purpose. But if they're in your collection, don't cry about it. It might not be a ruiner. You may be able to fix it. But in general, Bells and 8-balls aren't working in this project.
Yeah, here's an adult cinnamon G stripe in case people didn't know what they look like by City Balls LLC. It looks largely the same as the Kiki variant in terms of color palette.
The only difference is the head, and that's it.
Oh, brothers.
Literally the only difference. That's D, please.
D, says Jana. All right.
Give me the D.
Whoa, we're getting frisky now. I didn't eat lunch yet, so I'll be waiting soon. Spider G stripe.
Oh no, the spider gene. Okay. I'm gonna get shot for this. Bear with me.
You like it? Because it's different?
So I love spider and G stripe. I love spider in general. As far as the industry and the market go, it doesn't matter its potential to this project. because the industry is distancing itself from spider. So I personally would love to see it in Kiki. I would personally love to see it in G-Stripe, especially if you add calico. So you would have a collider G-Stripe. I think that would be badass. But as far as marketability and sellability, if you have spider in your project, it immediately devalues that snake. And so it doesn't matter how badass it looks. It doesn't matter if it does the most amazing thing. The industry is moving away from it. Justin is moving away from it. And what Justin does, obviously, you don't have to
if you
copy
don't
everything
suck
he
his
does.
dick correctly,
But he
if you
sets
are,
the
you'll
tone.
know what Justin's doing.
Correct. He sets the tone for
Jared's
the industry, and he has started to distance himself from spider. And I suggest that you do the same. And I love spider. All of my favorite, like, personal animals that are my pets have been spider. I am totally pro this gene, but I am distancing myself from it because that is the way the industry is trending. And so you may make the coolest spider animals, you may love the gene, but as far as marketability, you can immediately take off what do you think, like 20%, 15% of the
Those
price?
spider DG females that are
Spider
half
GG
price.
half price, 50%. And so you
Holy
have to
mackerel.
look at that and make good business decisions. So it really doesn't matter what its potential is, because you're shooting yourself in the foot, because the marketability for anything with spider greatly reduces what you can sell it for, no matter how fucking cool it turns out.
And speaking of cool, this one is not cool because it looks like a spinner. So, like, would it not be the worst Kiki of all time anyway? Literally just a couple dots. So even if you ignore everything else,
I think it has a lot of potential in the G-Stripe project. I think it has a lot of potential.
I'd like to. A lot of potential. I see some dots. This is a spinner. This is a spinner, Jana. How would you even notice this G-Stripe unless you're like squinting when they were doing it and you're like, oh, I guess y'all are doing it, so it must be.
This is a really, really, really reduced one. I have seen ones that have the long like the drips, and it has
sidewall, but
it has a really awesome calico sidewall. But I have seen spider G-Stripes that have long drips all the way down and a lot more pattern. This one is very reduced. I have seen some that are not reduced. I don't think you can control that. I don't think that that's polygenic. I think that's just luck. But I have seen some badass G-Stripe.
Yeah, I wouldn't put spiders. Pin in it either if I could choose to, is what I'm saying.
Oh, pinstripe and genetic
stripe. It's
stripe.
all gonna ruin.
Don't go so do
reduced it. So bad later on.
If it's an accident in a powerhouse, something else, I would be like, fine, I'll keep you. But I would never ever put pinstripe in my clowns. I would not put pinstripe in my genetic stripes. Just ignore it. And spider, it doesn't matter. This whole conversation doesn't matter.
I know people don't like pinstripe in clowns, but I do. I made blackhead, yellow belly pinstripe posse clown things. They're awesome.
Yours were sick. Yes.
Well, I haven't even posted pictures of them yet. The little pin, star constellations are orange inside. So there's like all these little orange star constellations because the blackhead and yellow belly lost their mind. I'll say pin.
So honestly, I don't think that this can be on the list at all. Obviously
it's just deranked. It's shitty.
It's deranked. I don't think it's shitty. I just think that it's a bad business move.
Oh, I think it's shitty. I think it's too reduced.
Well,
all right, here's I think this is getting close to the last one. The HRA G-Stripe. I wanted to find a weaker
you're about to tell me that I'm wrong about the HRA.
Yeah, I wanted to find a weaker one to see what they would look like, to see if you did HRA or Huffman, could you claw back pattern? And you can't. So
that's fair.
I'm suspicious.
Of
the whole complex.
Right.
They're hot in other things, so use them in other things.
I don't think that needs to go on the list at all. Don't even
put it up there. What do you mean don't put it on the list? We're making lists.
Get that shit off of there. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Last one. the blackhead G-stripe. This one's IRES Reptiles. It has a border. Some of them have more borders than this. And they are darker, but it isn't as big of a border as a leopard or an Inchi. So, but it's also not like a uniform like the black Apal complex.
It is not the right direction for genetic stripe, but we have no idea what it's going to do when you throw it into Kiki. So it's a neutral. Like, I literally could not tell you. It's like GHI. I gotta see it before I believe that it's shit. But it is shit in G stripe.
I think it'll be better than most of the dark ones. I think I made a list of ones that I thought were the best dark ones, and those were all the ones that were allelic with spot nose, or cypress, or bongo, or whatever. Because then they will have an opener and a darkener that are on the same allele that can compete effectively. So I would, if you're like, pick a dark gene to include, I would pick blackhead way ahead of time before GHI or black pastel. Or
so I have a Kiki pairing that I'm waiting for her to lay. I have a blackhead Pos Leo genetic stripe female. And
how about B?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And so I am very excited to have blackhead in it, but it could be bad. It could be good. It's either going to be great or
yeah,
it's
this
going
is
to be
one I would definitely
garbage.
try.
For sure.
For sure. There's no versions that make me suspicious yet. That's just me though. I love blackhead. Not like that, Jana.
I want it to be amazing.
So, why does Jessica like pastel today only? Because of the pastel acid G stripes. The best G stripes that exist. Are we going to fight?
No, I cannot
Okay,
disagree
good.
with that. Acid
because
is
the acid G stripe is not that exciting. The pastel G stripe is whatever. But the pastel acid G stripe is the most changed. And like the super pastel acid, which I didn't even bring a picture, it's just the same idea, just the speckles get smaller, which is cool. But this one has the most pattern. So that's the Kiki I would make. This is a base, add a darkener and a spreader and a colorer.
100%.
Because I don't know how to make acid react like this with anything else at this point. Because the pastel is the one that does it.
So you see how, like, you can tell it's a G stripe, but it's like so broken.
Yeah.
That is what I want in the Kiki. Is like this level where it's really broken along the dorsal. That's what I would like to see happening in the Kiki, rather than a smooth long stripe.
Well, then you need acid in every pairing.
In every pairing. So
yeah.
I need. Is this a male or a female?
Yes, both. Constricted reptiles, everybody, buy it now. These are going to fly off like hotcakes. He has a couple of them, and I'm like.
And what are they running? Are they like four or five?
Not insubstantial amount of money.
45. Okay, I was thinking 4 to 5. So that's actually a really good price for a recessive acid. So.
Yeah, this animal and this kind of animal is the only reason I would like get into Kiki right this second, because this is the most exciting potential combo that could exist. Because how else are you gonna change? I like the big chevrons, but if you could make like a monsoon like speckle explosion around the chevrons, like instead of chevrons or crossing over, that would all be very cool. I think it's not even on the tier list because it's not a combo, but that's why like pastel and acid are high tier list animals, because you need both of those to make this effect.
I don't disagree with you. It's high on my list. Cypress acid. I need it.
We already talked about this. It was pastel making Inchi have more pattern in this G stripe, not Correct. Inchi. There's a commonality. And the Inchi leopard is cool because it's got a deeper, darker border. This is the IRES G stripe also. But I'm really worried about this with clown. The dot will be the most tiniest dot of all time, having an Inchi leopard clown version.
And see, I need to see it before I believe you.
Okay. And here is Corey Wood's red Xanthics G stripe. These are all just like some doubles, and so it's already patternless.
And in case you weren't here earlier, like we said, we're trying to put more pattern, not less. So this is not the direction. Once again, you do not want to use the 8-ball.
And the only 3-pack we got. This was interesting because I think it's pastel that's doing it again. Like it needs yellow belly here. It needs leopard for border. But the pastel is letting all of this explode and happen. So unlike any other time in history, pastel is almost the most important part of Kiki to me.
I agree.
So having Enhancer or Desert Ghost version, good. That'll be excellent. But pastel is what's helping open and hold open stuff. Lindsay's into G-stripe now. Yay! So it's
You're welcome.
I know, what the heck. So I have never seen someone do an analysis of G-stripe like this on the internet ever. So that's why I wanted to do it, even though like I'm not in the project. But like,
and she's throwing me a bone, guys. This is she gets corn snakes. I get this. So
well, figuring out what to do with it is 90% of the fun. Like we have data, which is the animals that already exist. Well, and we have data of the G-stripe animals that already exist, but we know what their clown counterparts are. But nobody looks at the G-stripe counterparts because they ignore them. So we need to like
it's largely an ignored project.
We need to combine the information together to like pick a path from there.
Correct. And also you can see where just in the last 2 years, the G-stripe project has grown and done the right moves in the right direction to make the project more appealing, more exciting, to give it life again. But like I said, most people are working the G-stripe project in an attempt to parallel the clown so that we can combine them for Kiki, just like we're doing here in this analysis. I think that's the reason it's being worked. But I like what I'm seeing in the direction
from just G-stripe.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I think you can make some very nice looking just G-stripes that aren't supposed to go into clown. Like if you want to have leopard inchy as your base G-stripe to like combo off of, good. But that maybe once we see what the Kiki version that looks like, we won't need to combo it into clown because it looks better as just G-stripe. We'll see, everybody. We'll see. And then I have obviously ignored like all the color palette changers for G-stripe, like Desert Ghost and Ultramel. And they made a Monarch G-stripe, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
And
there's a Candy.
Xanthic and Candy and Albino. Because all those are cool, but those aren't necessarily major pattern disruptors. So right now we're just trying to figure out what the hottest Kiki will be. Because if you do the double hets now, it's going to take your ass 3 years to like put them back together and hope to hit stuff. So you might as well make the best double hets you can. And I wouldn't use cinnamon. Jana. All right, that's it. We did it.
So after this analysis, if
anal
you were
cis.
Anal cis,
I'm being funny.
If you were working the Kiki project, what direction would you take it? What combination of genes do you think is the right thing to be working towards?
For me or for just a human?
If you were working this project after this conversation, what was your takeaway of what genes that I should be putting into my Kikis?
I would pick genes that open the top and sides of clown. So spot nose, calico, and cypress. I would pick genes that open the bottom 2 of a tower, flame, whatever you want to call it. So yellow belly complex. I would also pick the allelic to cypress and spot nose genes that are dark to add contrast, even if they don't really do anything in G-stripe. Blackhead, bongo, Wookiee, chocolate. And I would ignore any tower spreader. Mojave, lesser. So high-end bells, high power bells, the entire 8-ball complex I would ignore. I would also ignore leopard because I just don't think it's going to be worth your effort. If you manage to hit a leopard spot nose, calico, I'm sure that'd be attractive looking. You know, like if you fix leopard in clown by adding cypress, yellow belly, fire, it looks cool. It looks cool then, but you're just fighting leopard's tendencies. So do you want to do that? Maybe. It's fine. But if you already have leopard, go for it. But I wouldn't seek out leopard for a Kiki. And then I would definitely put acid all up in that bitch. everywhere. But if you bring acid, you must bring pastel. They are required to be friends because the only way to activate acid's true power is with pastel. They're like super friends to me.
Yeah, everybody who's in the G stripe usually has a Sunny G stripe 403 fauna, but it's not. No.
Yeah, and it's partially because there are people who are very prolific, and so they made a lot of Cine, Lesser, and Banana. And so everybody bought into that project, but everyone is very samey in the project. It's wild when you're like, I'm in it too. And like everyone has the same combos. It's time to start buying, you know, a Desert Ghost Enhancer and breeding it to like a high-end clown female that has new stuff in it. Or the reverse, like making your triples that way, but like reversed. Because if everyone's just putting, you know, their Cine G stripe to their pastel clown, it's not getting the new stuff in correctly. We're working on the. I bet a bunch of these hets exist. They just haven't hit combos yet. All right, we did it.
We did it.
Woo!
That was so fun. I love G-stripe. Oh.
Okay.
So we're gonna move on to not
news.
Or lack thereof.
Well, we have a couple newses. I found some.
She dug some up for you guys.
No, Ryan McVeigh was in a car crash. I found this morning, actually. So he totaled his car, and his family's safe, and he's safe. But they are running a GoFundMe if people want to contribute to replace his car. Apparently, he thought it was insured, but it wasn't, and he just bought it or something, and so it was still under payments. It was crazy, and I feel really bad. So if people want to drop a couple of buckaroos on their way out the door to Arlington, which apparently everyone is going except for Jana.
And I was supposed to go.
Yeah, there was so much.
I'm so sad.
I don't know if Ryan's able to go, but there was a lot of news missing because everyone's busy getting ready to go to Arlington. So you might overlook the Ryan McVeigh story because you didn't know. So I'll just put it out there if anybody wants to donate. I think he was in Texas when he crashed this car also. Like he was going places. Man.
But I'm glad his family's safe and that he's safe. But if you can help out or you want to, please do. That's good when the community backs people and they're having things like this. I like to support things like this rather than the help me pay my mortgage when they could just go and sell one of their snakes to pay their mortgage. That kind of bothers me. But this kind of stuff is really important for our community to get together and support.
Yeah, he's been a big supporter of the community elsewhere, USARC donations and stuff. Okay. We finally are going to talk about the crypto episode from Colubrids and Colubroids, which we almost talked about last week, and then we were running too long. But do you have any? My first statement is I was going to get Jennifer on for our crypto episode, so now I can't. So we got scooped.
We got scooped, but we can do it in like 6 months. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I definitely want to have her on. I actually, so I don't let. I'm going to reiterate this. If you try to friend me on Facebook on my personal page, I'm going to ignore you most likely. I'm sorry. That's my personal page, not my business page. Follow me on Instagram or whatever. Or if you want to be besties, message me on Facebook and then I'll add you as a friend. But in general, that's my family page. And I mostly have family and in real life friends, not just 10 million. I have like under 200 friends on Facebook because I try to keep it smaller. But I am actually friends with her on Facebook, and I didn't know. I did not correlate that this was the same person for some reason. I have the same name.
In the Discord.
I know. I just did not correlate that these were the same two people. It's so funny because we have her on our list to interview, but also like I'm friends with her, but I didn't. Anyway, I did not make the connection because I'm slow, in case you guys missed it. But I really like her. I like what she's doing with Florida Kings. It's making me want to sell my Kelley Kings and get some from her. I really enjoyed listening to her story of how she got into this and what her PhD is in. And then I only heard part of the crypto discussion.
Oh, you didn't finish it? It's fine. Mm-mm. Yeah, it was good. She's funny. I wish it was a little bit more prescriptive in the end, Because they never be like, okay, this is what you need to do. Which maybe they don't
Like I
feel
said,
like
that's
they
why
want
we
to
can
take
have her. We can have her on,
that
and we can
firm
do
of a
that.
position on things. Like I'm always like, okay, you've scared me. So what do you think I should do? They never got prescriptive. Yeah, 6
And I
months.
would say 99% of the messages I get when people have heard us talking about Nido in other episodes that aren't our Nido episode, that is what they want. They want the
Do
prescriptive.
the crypto. Yeah, oh yeah,
No, they
for
want
Nido.
the right. And so I always direct them to our Nido episode, which does the job. But that's the number one thing that people are seeking. Oh, you freaked me out. But now what do I do? Like, do I just live in this state of fear, or is there a plan?
Yeah,
Like, you've
I mean, maybe
scared
we should
me.
do a prescriptive crypto episode
For sure.
first, and then we'll bring her on for like fun talk because they've been almost getting ready to publish a paper for a long time now, and I'm being edged, is what I'm saying about crypto. So maybe
Oh,
when it comes out
no.
finally, I'll just be like, "Come on!"
I'm a little bit of a masochist, so I like being edged. But
Oh, it's
we could definitely do it, and I think we could do an interview in a different way, and I think it would still have value. It wouldn't just be the same interview because we aren't afraid to be prescriptive in what
well. I
you
don't
should
think
do.
Dr. Lohan was prescriptive or afraid. He's been that way before. I just don't know. That's what I was waiting for them to say. It's like, okay, stop. You got a king snake. You think it has crypto. What would you personally choose to do? And then he kind of tried, but then they kept getting off track. They got
I was going to say in
distracted.
the beginning, he was trying to talk about like, you don't have to just euthanize everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so there were bits of it. It just wasn't like
Right.
all put together in a complete
Maybe we
thought.
should do just like a
together.
15-minute YouTube video.
A follow-up to their
Hey.
response to their interview. Anyway, that might be coming down the pipeline as a good crypto discussion.
Yeah, we're just guessing. We'll space it out though, so nobody, it's not irritating. Okay. Wow, breaking news. So this paper was published a couple days ago. Do you want to read it, Jana? The title?
Well, that's going to make everybody
just
happy.
do it. Just do it.
Is the link in the notes?
It's on the screen in front of you. Do you want to see it? Just read the title. Just do it. Oh.
Ophidiomyces, Ophidiacola detected and infection, a global review of a potential threat to the world's snake populations. Now, would you read it correctly?
No, that's the record. It's on the record.
It's on the record. For the people in the back, it's okay if you say it like me. It's all right. We're all trying here. We can all, have master's degrees and know how to say this shit. If it was a medical term, I could totally nail it, though.
This is snake fungal disease, everybody at home. The thing that people were like, oh no, it's killing all like the wild North American snakes and whatever. So this is a review paper of all of the current literature. Just came out a couple days ago. There's a full text available. Be in the show notes for you to read and review. I was going to do a full episode about this, which I still will, but
this is really more prevalent in the like New England area, right?
It's worldwide, so I don't know. It's just a lot of the early papers were from certain places that were cold. It does tend to spread faster in places where snakes brumate. So if it's cold, they must brumate. But it can happen everywhere, potentially.
Right. I knew it could happen everywhere, potentially. I just know that we'd seen a lot of it in like New York, upper northeastern part of the country.
Yeah, it is everywhere, though. It's not native to the North America, but it was probably introduced multiple times into North America from the old world. God knows how. And I'm not going to go into it too hard because we'll save it for the episode. There was a couple of points I wanted to talk about. One was the fungus fights with the fungus and bacteria that live on the skins of the snakes. So if your microbiota on your snake's skin is inefficient to put up good competition, the snake can succumb. And then also if it's immunosuppressed. So that brings up the question of like, what is the correct skin microbiota for a captive snake who's never touched the wild? Do you know?
I do not know.
Right. So that's something that's like deeply not understood, including like gut flora. People will be like, supplement with Nutrabac if somebody regurgitates. I've looked at that. I'm like, are these strains for every snake who's ever existed, lizard? Or are these strains just something they guess that some snakes have? Or yeah,
You're wanting more evidentiary support.
Yeah, we're guessing wildly in terms of microbiota or the microbiome of both the gut and the skin of snakes. And if the microbiome is not good, then they can succumb to fungal diseases. Somebody do a paper on that. That's what I'm asking for. And it also can be transferred on soil and can grow in soil. So as always, don't just put random shit in your cage, even if it seems cool. Because a lot of the snakes die. Some of them don't die and become asymptomatic. They have to be confirmed with PCR. Sometimes the fungus will live too far down in the skin. And so if you swab the skin, you won't get anything. But then it'll like rupture up when it becomes immunosuppressed, and you can swab and detect it through PCR. It's the same as everything else. It's just this time it's a fungus. And then, as always, the fungus cannot be killed by chlorhexidine or simple green. So if you're like trying to disinfect boots or Tupperware or whatever that goes outside, that bleach is effective, 3% bleach solution, but not chlorhexidine. As always, chlorhexidine fails almost any measure of cleanliness.
What about F10?
F10 works.
Okay.
But the contact time for all these is like 10 minutes. Not like 10 seconds.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, I have a paper. It'll be in the show notes. People want to look for fungal disease disinfectant treatments. Save most of that for the show. It is a wild snake problem, but it can come in to your house and get into your captive snakes. There's a lot of captive snakes that were never wild that have it, and nobody knows why.
Well, and if you have a large population of wild snakes in your area and you're doing the cutesy like run through the grass pictures, like you have to be aware that you could be potentially exposing your snakes to this.
Yeah. Yes. Whoa. It's picture time, everybody. This is... Did you watch the video?
I have not seen the video yet. Nope.
This is Infinigene, a Canadian dude who moved to Korea. So the snake is in Korea. It is the world's first blackhead clown pied combo, and it's blackhead yellow belly pastel. Do you think it's cool, Jana?
It's badass. I really, really, really need this gene in my clown pied project, and I don't have it yet, and it's on my list.
I like how, even though pastel's sort of winning, it's very saturated even for a pastel of this size.
Yes.
That's blackheads.
I like how much pattern. I like how much pattern it has. I'm glad that it's not a pattern reducer, because a lot of the genes that I like in pied are pattern reducers, and so it's a little bit sad. And the fact that it just is not an immediate reducer has appeal to me. I think in a clown pied specifically, less white for me is better, because then you have more opportunity to do things. So when you just have like little splotches on a clown pied, for me, that's sad. That's a sad clown pied. Other people might not feel the same, but for me, I love the amount of pattern that's on this. I love everything that it's doing. I think that pastel in pied is great. Pastel in clown sucks, but in the clown pied, I think it's getting its awesome from pied. So it's definitely a gene that you can keep in there. It would have been really cool if it was a blackhead clown pied without the pastel.
Not pastel, yeah.
But like I said, I don't think it's making it shit or anything. It's just...
Oh, yeah, it looks fine.
It's a great... Congratulations. It's an awesome snake. Congratulations.
The country of South Korea. You did it. You know what's weird? The best life geckos I've ever seen are from Korea and Japan. So the US game is weak.
Weak sauce.
They've just been doing
Sorry,
it
Shane.
over there. I know. What the heck? Let's import some because they're just the best.
Oh, best.
That's what I learned from Instagram anyway. Okay, we've talked about Black Xanthic, and I'm going to talk about it again.
What is this?
This Void Demon here is the good kind of Black Xanthic, and this one's pastel. Pastel.
Corey Martin hooking it up. Although, I mean, like,
What?
It's like real dark.
Yeah. Imagine if that was Ghost. Then it would be blue. The whole thing would be blue. So this doesn't happen to all Black Xanthics. I think that's something that is not clear. I did ask her, talked a little bit in the comments, and just certain ones do this at like 2 years old. And there's another post on Morph Market's Black Xanthic section, which is a son of a mother that did this. And so I was trying to get at like, what's the heritability? She's like, she's not sure because she hasn't raised up the babies long enough to see if any of them do this. But this is different than Black Xanthic to me. Is this another gene?
Well, and then this is more promising as like the IMG that people are hunting down for ball pythons because if it's consistent at the 2-year mark. Because I think that what other people are pursuing, it's very inconsistent when they turn dark.
Right. And I don't know what this is.
So
or
if
is
it really
this just like a heritable,
like line breeding that has nothing to do with the genetic.
Or a defect. I mean, you remember that Brian Barczyk snake that was really dark and had those tumors that were black, like they would just overproduce melanin, and you could like scrape the top of the tumor off, and it would just like ooze black juice. Remember that snake? I'm not saying the snake has tumors. Corey's snake looks fine, but I do worry about them that it's not heritable. There's some sort of defect. But because this is like a consistent trend in Black Xanthic, I want somebody to grab a couple of these, breed them together, and see if it's A, simple recessive, B, detachable from Black Xanthic, or C, just a variant of Black Xanthic. Please do that. I don't have time to do it. Corey, thank you.
But if it is an IMG type effect, that would be a huge thing because a lot of people want that. In ball pythons, it's been being sought after to try to find and pinpoint something like this, and that's the best potential that I've seen so far of everything that we've talked about in regards to things getting darker in ball pythons.
Corey Martin, everybody, check her out.
She's amazing
on the old Instagrams. Bongo paint, Jana. Can't make this any bigger. How do you feel about bongo paint?
So paint is the one recessive I would love to have that I do not. Anybody that doesn't know, paint and sentinel are the same thing. With bongo, it's awesome. It's doing a lot. It's adding a lot. I love the color. It's yes, please.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's cool. I still wish bongo had a different color palette, but bongo is still cool. Is that it? Just needs yellow belly in there.
It almost doesn't though, because it's doing so much.
It would make it all orange. Did you see the yellow belly paint on Morph Market?
I didn't. I would look that up.
It's sold, by the way, but it's the best one on there. Okay. This one has been sitting in our stupid notes for like a hot minute. This is the homozygous peach. We talked about peach a couple times. Peach was not in our corn snake morph video. So this is it. I don't think this is the first time it's been isolated, but this is one of the best pictures I've seen of it. It is like a hypotype-ish, and it's called Peach.
It's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. Love it. 10 out of 10. Ryan Farrell. That's his snake. Then, so this is a palmetto.
What?
Yeah.
A palmetto what?
A palmetto. It's just so there are people will call snakes like this a chimera, but it's really not a chimera. It's just when a little blastula is forming and it goes through steps and it's still just like barely a little functional blob of cells. Sometimes, I don't know how to say this in a dumb way, some like cops will come by and be like, this is broken. Let me just, and so they will fix broken genes and cells, like DNA police officers. They'll just be like, let me just put it upright, like pushing like the parking cones into the upright position. So these aren't chimeras. They're not two embryos that fused into one. There's somebody where the cops have fixed a small part of DNA that was broken, and they fixed the palmetto gene, right? Because it's broken. So they sensed that there was like a substitution or something that was incorrect, and they came back in. So part of this animal still has the palmetto gene that is the broken version, which shows the mutation. Part of this animal is actually like caramel because it only fixed the palmetto part. So these are like paradox animals. But this is a very cool one.
It's very cool. For those just listening on audio, instead of a white snake with dots, it's a very splotched snake with a lot of
right. And people have been trying to like selectively breed the more splotchy ones, and it's not been largely unsuccessful because this is just like an accidental paradox thing that happens
to the actual embryo. It's not a genetic thing.
Yes, where the mechanisms of the cell are like, fuck, our shit's broke, and it will try to
let's throw some stem cells at it, see if we can't fix that little problem.
Not quite like that, but close enough.
The one that you showed, the yellow.
This is an older animal with the same like base mutation, which I guess
that's really cool.
Caramel or whatever, but it's fixed parts of it instead of other parts.
That is really cool. So parts of it is the splotch of the palmetto, but it has chunks of coloration or paradoxine, and it almost looks like a spotted, like the cow retic.
Yeah, you can like see the anery peeking in underneath.
Right.
Like their normal saddle.
It almost has saddles and spots. It's really cool.
Yeah, they are cool. It's just for fun.
I
just
really
wanted to point out that it's fun.
That is fun. That excites me. That makes me want to play with
this is such old news, Jana.
What day is it from? September 12th.
Holy shit.
2 weeks ago, guys.
For a hot minute. It's a world's first, I'm pretty sure. The Blackhead Puzzle Pos Cypress by Royal Canadian Reptiles.
Do you think it has cypress?
Yes, because that was the only thing that explained why Blackhead looks so shitty.
I would agree with you. I think that it definitely has cypress. It's got the coloration.
Shitty's the wrong word, by the way. Sorry, Will.
It's toned the blackhead down a lot.
It's like, it's combined together in a way that is not particularly satisfactory. And I don't know why. It's fine. Hopefully different things can happen to it. The puzzle worries me sometimes. Like I like it a lot, but this kind of stuff worries me. Right.
I mean, it's like the cinnamon G-stripe. You're just like, whoa, not that. Whoa, that was wrong. Try again.
Right. It probably should, like if it was Blackhead Mojave, it would be cool because it would be like the G-stripe Mojave puzzle. Because then it would spread. So the puzzle needs a spreader, and the Kiki does not need a spreader, in my opinion, so far. And since the Blackhead Cypress is not spread, it needs a spreader to spread in puzzle too. It's still cool. I just wish it was a little cooler. Last one, the burning question that's been burning in my heart since September 14th. What is this? Kittinger Reptiles. The pairing was a Superfly Leopard Clown Het DG to a pin double Het DG Clown. It is a patternless fucking...
Did he ever put it under a black light? Because I asked and he hadn't done it yet, but that was 2 weeks ago.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see an update like that. Okay. I don't think that matters. I don't care. To me, it's a Superfly pin leopard DG clown. And it just happens to be patternless because that's too much. And DG is like the final step to reduce it away to nothing. What do you think?
I wouldn't hate owning it, but it's not. I mean, for its genetic potential, but it's not. It's not anything that I'm like, wow, look at my snake. Look what I did. I'm like, wow, it's
I
nothing.
mean, it's cool. It's interesting.
It's interesting, and it has a huge amount of potential genetically, but it's not. I'm not like, oh, you've arrived. It's not the pinnacle of any project.
Yeah. I think like it's obviously not a super version because it's not there's not pastel on both sides, but I think he hit all the genes. Pin,
I
pastel,
agree.
fire,
Yes.
leopard. And he made a pattern of the snake. We did it. We figured out another way to make a patternless snake, not with just like pastel, cinnamon, fire, whatever.
Yes.
The most expensive patternless snake of them all. It's still a nice color though. It's like creamsicle. Like I want to eat it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not an ugly snake or anything. It's just not, like I said, it's not the pinnacle of any project. It's not like I'm going to go and recreate that. It's not exciting anyone. It's not something that people are going to rush out to recreate.
You're not going to lick it because it looks like a creamsicle push pop?
I mean, you really shouldn't lick reptiles, but no.
Oh, yeah.
No. I mean, but it's a powerhouse to have in the rack. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't be sad if I owned it. And
it's a girl, so it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. That, I mean,
it's fine.
Yeah, have that shit in your rack, but no one's rushing out to make the orange juice or whatever he named it. We're not all like running to Morph Market and clearing out those genes.
No. You should be clearing out that cypress G stripe.
And the acid G stripe.
And the acid pastel G stripe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right, we did it. Is there any final thoughts? We've done all the news. So that means we're caught up. I'll be in Arlington tomorrow. I will be kissing babies, shaking hands, kissing husbands, kissing wives. Who knows who will be kissing? That's it. What will you be doing tomorrow?
I'll be at the Spokane reptile show vending because it got moved. Unfortunately, it wasn't supposed to be this weekend. It was supposed to be an earlier weekend, but there was a snafu and it got changed to this weekend. So I will not be in Arlington.
Kissing
which
babies.
Crushes my soul. Kissing everybody because I'm sure there's
so many
line.
people are there. I'm just
a line of kisses. I could have a kissing booth to fund my G-stripe clown project.
I'll buy your table cost if you exclusively a kissing booth.
Right. So hopefully I'll be able to make some national shows next year and hook up. That's probably the wrong way to say that. Hook up with Jessica. But
are you going to Tinley in October?
I definitely am not going to Tinley in October, but I'm hoping to hit some shows next summer because I will not have classes.
Are you doing any more shows this semester? They're local?
Yes, there is a Portland show in October that I will be vending at. It's a 2-day show. The dates will be on my Instagram.
Okay.
And when we get closer, I'll probably shout it out. But this weekend, if you are in Washington State and the eastern side of the state or near it in Idaho, we will be there vending for one day only. And come see me. Come say you listen. I love it when people come up to me and they're like, you have a podcast. And I'm like, who?
Do I?
Do I? Are you sure?
I'm always surprised.
I'm always surprised when people come up and say they listen. But yeah, that's what I'll be doing instead of Arlington, which is sad, but it's hard to go spend a bunch of money when it's a weekend that I could be making money. So that's what I'll be doing instead. Unfortunately, got to be a responsible adult. We have a couple people still here on the live. You guys are amazing. Sainthood.
Do you want to skip collection updates for next week? Do you have anything exciting happening? I don't know why nothing exciting is happening in my life. Probably because I'm just like still moving shit. I just move shit every day.
Yeah, I'm still moving shit into my snake shack. I was just going to ask if there was anybody in the audience that had a question or anything that we could hit.
Oh yeah.
Before we log out. But I'll
answer any question.
Ooh, I'm not going to just give away that right now. I'll probably answer any question.
You don't have to ask questions, everybody. Nobody cares. Yeah, I'll see everybody I'm going to see. I had like multiple messages. Like, I'll be at Arlington tomorrow. Find me. And I'm like, so I don't know how to like keep track of people. So if you find me, and I'll say hi to you. And hopefully I'll try to be normal.
Will you be wearing any advertising paraphernalia, or will you be in like street clothes?
So I was going to wear Shane's shirt and I ordered it. and my boobies don't fit in it.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
They just don't fit good, and I was like, this is embarrassing. So I bought another one. I don't know if it's going to be here in time. That was my goal, was to like do our sponsor, and I failed because of boobies. I'm so sorry, Shane.
Hello, best Buckner Crest Xotics. Welcome. Yeah, you should ship that to me then.
Okay, you could like cut it and make
I
it
could
like
do like a
styled.
slit and like
It's just like a normal women's shirt. It's just like I got too much of the old tatas to make it work out good, which maybe is fun, but it's not fun for me that much. But I'll be picking up my ASFs tomorrow, and I might just like sneak around like Justin's table like creepily. Not like behind his booth, but just like stare at him. Just make it really awkward because he like peripherally knows who we are, but not really. I'll just like
right. Like he's heard that we exist. Which...
Right, but he doesn't watch or care. But then I'll
Correct.
make it extra weird because he'll be like, why is that weird woman just lurking?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's
I can't wait.
I could
to ruin
totally
it.
pull the like, you know, I'm wearing the hold back rack shirt. Could you sign my back thing? Because he's not the kind of person that signs boobies, just so you know, guys. Sorry to break it to you.
Oh, he seems like a loving husband, very dutiful.
Loving,
so why would he
straight
sign
lace? Yes. So I wouldn't ask that of him, but yeah, I'm sad that I'll miss that. When we do our episode next Friday live, we will rehash Arlington and Spokane Expo. After the news, probably, or is that our main topic?
I don't know. It depends on if something really exciting happens.
Okay.
I think it doesn't have to be the main though, because we will have rested enough to have like coherent thoughts.
Oh, you think so?
No.
Well,
no?
It depends on. So my husband, my ex, his grandma passed away this week. And so her funeral is next Friday, but I haven't decided if I'm flying out for it. But I also start school next week. It's going to be a really crazy week. So don't count on Jana to be coherent.
Well, then
But I'll be here, but I just won't.
So it'll still be 12 p.m. Central Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Fuck, this is hard. Pacific Standard Time.
Time zones are hard and
Friday. And we'll decide on a topic. I guess since you're going to be brain damaged, I'll just make something up again. As
always.
Normal. I'm going to go deep into a corn snake's butthole live on air.
Yeah. Or maybe we'll talk about the problems with females or something. We've got a list of things we can cover, but
right. So you're going to be brain dead though.
Coherency, but coherency is not happening. But thank you for those who joined us again. We will try to throw up a reminder next Thursday that this live is happening, but just anybody that's listening either right now or you're listening to it later, this is our new time slot that we'll be doing. It's a lot easier for Jessica because you all know that I'm just a pillow princess and she does all the everything. I just show up and ask the questions for the people in the back. So this is where we are. If you have time, otherwise you can catch us later or it'll be dropped in audio 2 days later. So thanks for listening.
We did it. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Touch your corn snakes buttholes.